Hello everyone, welcome back to A City Planner Plays City Builders, where we play city skylines, and today we are continuing our work on Bluffside Crossing. Today we are going to focus on building our park, and after looking at the comments, I think that a nature preserve park is going to be the way that we go. But one of the other things I asked to leave comments about was the name for the park and the name for the neighborhood. So I've decided to actually incorporate every single name that was left. I think that you guys had some really good options. So we're going to have Evergreen Park. We're going to be lumberjacks today and take down all these trees, replace them with some evergreens. We named the neighborhood Green Hills. We have Riverstone, Agnes Banks, and Mount Hood. And I'm thinking that we're going to have some pretty upscale neighborhoods, particularly in Mount Hood, and we will get to those in future episodes. I did let this simulate a little bit to build some of the things that would be, or to kind of let this build out a little bit, and then I realized that we had no garbage collection over here, so I added a waste transfer facility. We still do not have police, fire, crematoriums or anything of that nature, so there are definitely issues here, and I see that there's a major fire, so I'm going to put that fire out, so to speak, and take care of that. I just want to make sure I don't have anarchy on. I believe that I do. Let's see. Yeah, I do. So I'm going to temporarily put these over here. I don't think that this is the final location for all of this, but it'll work for now. In a future episode, I want to work these into our town center that we will build with some traditional suburban style strip retail and things of that nature. But today we're going to work on this park. So I think to start out, we're going to want to get rid of some of this stuff that we zoned. I want to have a transition into the park, and what I was thinking might be interesting would be having a portion of the park that is specifically meant for the neighborhood and another portion that is really kind of a regional attraction. So let's start out by eliminating the trees. So I'm going to use the tree brush. I'll just get rid of everything for now. We can add this back later, but right now I want a completely clean palette to work from. Okay, we have nothing zoned over there. I did add one mod, and that is the crosswalks mod. So I'm going to add some crosswalks. I'm not overly concerned about the traffic in this area yet. If this does become a concern, we can add a pedestrian overpass, but generally that's not something that you're going to add until there's a lot of demand for it. This is a traffic calming. Adding these crosswalks in will work with, as a traffic calming measure, and I think it'll be good for the neighborhood in general. That's one of the issues with having these arterials in suburban neighborhoods is you end up with really high-speed thoroughfares and right next to residential traffic. So, all right, we have a way for the residents to access this new park. So what we're going to do, we've already got our park space established, and to build a park, you need to actually create this zone, and then you need to have an entryway, the main gate. And there's a couple different types of gates. You can have a small one or a big one. I think we're going to have a large main gate. And I'm going to put that near the entryway, or near the crosswalk that we created, for efficiency's sake. Oh, whoops. And what I was thinking might be neat. So we're going to obviously put fences around this nature preserve area because we want people not to just walk in. But one of the things that you're able to do when you have a park area is actually have a park, or is actually put park buildings from any of the parks within that park area including traditional park buildings, so long as you have a main park gate. So I think that we are going to do that. We're going to give residents in this area an opportunity to just have a nice neighborhood park. We'll carve that out. We won't charge to get into that area. And it's not going to be anything too big, but it'll be substantial enough to appease the neighborhood. And I love that you can see some wildlife actually walking through here. It's like a bobcat or something. Great. Okay, so let's just fence this in. I really like the fencing, yeah, besides just, making sure that people aren't walking into the park without paying. It gets rid of those zoned areas. So even on a river's edge, sometimes I will throw in a fence if I don't want things to just spawn there. I think it's a way to prevent that in a way that makes sense. So I'm just going to kind of follow. Actually, I don't need it to be this big, so I'm going to take this down a little bit. Let's add some separation. There's no need to be that close to the interstate. And why don't we turn our topographic view back on and use that as the guide for our park area. And then we can add trees on the outside of it to buffer from that road. So I'm just going to follow this contour as best I can until it no longer makes sense to do so. Okay, and now it's very steep over here. Now remember, we're developing the park in this area because this is very difficult land to otherwise build on. So I'm going to kind of cut across these contours so that it's not too steep. And then I might hug back around and come up to this rail corridor. I want to leave enough space to put a row of trees to separate the rail corridor from the park. And now again, I'm going to follow those contours. Now, I'm going to take a minute here to do a little bit of terraforming. You can see is that our main gate is raised up quite a bit there, and that's just not going to work well. So let's kind of spread this out a little bit and smooth out those contours as best we can. Oh, whoops. So it's going to be a pretty steep slope regardless, but we can do a little bit to make it better. So kind of mirror what I was doing before, and then we'll cut down. Okay, so let's take a look. So this is our main park area. It's very large. And the fences right now might not make a ton of sense, but it is following those contours, which makes it an easier fence to build. And I think it's a little bit more logical. It might seem attractive to have, a car. Not the most logical path. Not sure why that's happening. Anyway, it might seem logical to have completely straight fences. We could do that with terraforming, but I kind of want to leave it a little bit more natural. Fill in some trees along the highway, create some separation between the park and that highway. So, to start out with, let's create our little neighborhood park. So I'm going to completely switch up our style and just do a small loop. Let's put about 4 up there. Do that same thing here. I want to fix that little bit. Actually, I don't like where it is. Let's just redo it. Okay. And what I'm thinking is we can have a nice... Take 2 or 3. I think it would be nice to have a little bit of a feature here where people could hang out and then maybe look at some of our other park type amenities and place something there. So let's see. Trying to think of what might fit best. Oh. This would work really well. I need to rebuild that fence. Let's put in tennis court. And let's see if I have basketball. Nice. All right, yeah, basketball as well. And we can put these fences back. Oh, they're both the same. Whoops. As much as I love basketball personally, I think it's great. That's very large. So maybe we will just see what else we have. We'll just throw in a city Skylines default sort of play area. Do not love the bouncy castle. Carousel might be nice. So we'll put that in there. Yeah, that'll be fine. We can clean this up a little bit. Okay. Then maybe we can use this concrete as our guide for our fence. Okay. So, nature preserve. Kind of bring this around here. Okay, I want to move this just a little bit, if at all possible. All right, then I will clean this up just a little bit. All right, I know those are a little nitpicky there, but I sometimes do find myself getting lost in the minutia. But I like the way this looks now. So it's a place where members of this neighborhood could come in and do a little bit of, or hang out at the park a little bit. With any park, it's good to have lots of trees. I think a planter box would be really nice for this. I don't know that I want to get that level of detail with this small park right now, but I will put in a couple of trees. See if we can find something a little smaller. I don't want palm trees necessarily. Doesn't really fit in with the. Let's see. I don't know that this is necessarily an evergreen, but I do think it will fit in well in the area. And then we can do a row of trees up front. All right, so let's see. I think that's a nice little park area, a nice little hidden gem for the neighborhood. But the reason we're here is not this small park area, it's this big park area. So there are a couple different types of nature reserve paths that we could use. This one right here, just kind of a standard path. This one has lights. So I think that maybe we'll have a main spine coming off that's lit. Clearly we're not gonna wanna have a lit path for campers. So I think I'm just gonna put this down the center and meet up towards the end. And that will be lit. It'll be nice for people heading towards the main gate. But for anyone who's going camping, they're gonna want a little bit more privacy. So let me turn on the contours here as well. Let's just try to follow some of these contours again to make it look a little bit more natural. And then maybe a scenic vista here at the high point. And then there's not a ton that we can do down here. So I don't want to cut the contours too much. So meeting up with this trail, well, I could do it. I don't know how necessary it is. Maybe kind of nice, but so I think this is going to be our backbone network here. We have that high point. So let's take a look at our amenities. So we have our campsites. Let's see if I can turn off. I'm going to pause for a quick second and see if I can turn off this this glow. Unfortunately, this will have to be good enough for now. So I know that in the comments a few videos back, someone left a link to a mod to actually eliminate this glow, and I did install it. I'm not sure if I don't have it activated correctly or what the case may be, but I will take a look at that and hopefully resolve this for future videos. So in looking at this, there's actually 2 scenic views here. So I'm going to have these overlooks going both directions, which I think is pretty neat. And now for the campsites, I want to do a couple things. Obviously, over here with a great view of the highway, probably not the best place. So I'm going to take a look at where might be best, and that's probably, even though the rail line is here, going to be closer to this side of the hill. So I'm going to place a couple of those. And I'm going to place a couple tent campsites as well. Those are on the lit street, so maybe we'll modify that. For campfire, I mean, we can definitely bring that up closer to the main area. Maybe we'll mirror that. Another campfire site. No reason why we couldn't have a couple of those in this walking area. Lean-to shelter. I'll put a couple of those over near that view. So we have these lookout towers too. Let's focus on the water. We'll put a few lookout towers so people can really get a nice view of the water. Another large campsite. So we might want to do a little work with that one to make it work. One of the things that we have here is fishing cabins. I would love to include this, but we don't have any water in the site, so unfortunately we can't have fishing cabins. We did see some wildlife, so why not have some hunting cabins? Maybe just a couple, side by side, with a main one across. Up too steep. Okay, so we have our hunting lodges. And then maybe a boulder site here as well. So you're able to put some outhouses. Why not put an outhouse over by these camping sites? Oh, we don't need a row of outhouses. Okay. So I'm noticing that these are really elevated, so I think I'm going to lower these a bit. It's better to be on the bottom of that hill than up and not able to get to your site. Let's do that with some of these as well. Make sure that they make sense. I think we could probably add a couple more campsites within here and maybe some benches. So maybe this will be an area where people can just have a meal. Lower this down to actually be on the ground. All right. Oh, whoops. I do think that we'll want a couple more camping areas. And so I went camping recently, and it's amazing how close some of these can be packed in. So, all right, I'll add those in. So we have a couple camping areas. Let's see, this looks like it's a little too high, so I think we'll do again. We'll lower this to the road it's on, and then maybe smooth this out just a little bit. This much as we can anyway. It's not going to be perfect. So, all right, I think that this is looking really nice. So now, what this really needs are some trees. You know, that's ultimately what we're missing. So this generic set actually looks like it is evergreen trees. So let's load up the park with some trees. All right. And we'll go just outside the park area too. And then I think we're gonna want to have kind of a row of trees along the railroad tracks to buffer from some of that sound. I might mirror the exact same thing up the side to prevent some of that visual obstruction. And the same thing along the side with the highway. So that when you're inside the park, it feels like you are surrounded by nature, even though you are by a busy highway. Okay, I'm liking it. Let's go straight for these ones. All right, let's see if there are any other trees, smaller tree cluster. Yeah, why don't we put some of those in as well? So I do have the tree brush, and I could be doing this with the tree painter tool. It doesn't seem like it's actually doing anything. But this will work too. All right, I mean the forest brush is another way to accomplish this. I don't have an actual paintbrush set up, so I'm just gonna kind of do it manually. All right, I'm liking this. I think it looks really good. All right, so let's take a look at the park info. $10 to get in. That seems fair. Very attractive. We're gonna need a park maintenance building. Otherwise, the attractiveness of the park will go down. This is not something I necessarily want directly near the park, but we have this industrial area over here. So I think that this may be an appropriate place to put the park maintenance building. Remember, this is this has our forestry industry. So I think it actually fits in quite well. The biggest challenge will be the grades here, as it always is on this map. I also don't want to put it in a place like I just put it, where it prevents us from expanding this district in the future. Because as you can see down here, we have quite a bit of need for industrial land. So, all right, we have this. I want to smooth out the terrain here a little bit. So let's level this. And then smooth this. Whoops. Undo. And then smooth this out a little bit to make it look a little more natural. Clearly not something I could do in real life because of the cost, but this is a game, and I get to experience my dreams a little bit and make this actually work. Okay, so now we have our park area. Let's see if we're seeing some visitors. We are getting some visitors. And though we have this pedestrian crossing here, we're not seeing traffic build up. So I think we're okay. The park area is full. and I'm quite pleased with the way it's turned out. Let's take a look at it through the cinematic view. Look at that, people walking through already. Things are looking good. And at night, how would we look? Let's take a look in the evening. Oh, looking good. This looks like a nice place to camp and hang out. Nicely wooded, lots of places to walk. From our scenic overlook, beautiful view of the bluffs across the river and the water. And the other way, a beautiful skyline view. I think we want to clean up some of the clipping that we're seeing here, but that's small potatoes. I think that things turned out pretty well, and I'm pretty pleased with the way that this is going. Interested in hearing what you have to say about this build. Do you like the way it went? Is there anything that you would change? Let me know in the comments. In the next build, I'm thinking about building that shopping center and remedying some of the issues in this suburban neighborhood. One other thing that I noticed that we're going to want to remedy quite soon is our road repair. So let me get to the right location. Our road condition is bad everywhere because I have not addressed road maintenance facilities. So that's probably another future build, traffic relief and road maintenance. So stick with me and we will get to that. In the meantime, let's take one last look at our city. And I want to thank you so much for joining me on this build and on this journey building this community. If you like this content, please consider hitting the like button. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing and hit the notification bell if you want to know as soon as I release new videos. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Take care.